The United States Supreme Court said convicting a person by a non-unanimous jury verdict is unconstitutional. That law was introduced for the sole purpose of preserving white supremacy. I felt happy for my friends and the people that I left in prison. The reason why they're in prison for all those years, our United States Supreme Court has said it was wrong. The state of Oregon has the power to send a message that we will never uphold laws intended to preserve white supremacy. I get emotional when I think about them, because they're still in prison. Angola, when I was one, they booked me for shooting that gun. When we was kids, our nursery rhymed with, we was gonna commit a crime that was gonna send us to Angola, and it rhymed with our age. I was two. I didn't give that much thought about the nursery rhymes until I got to Angola. And then I realized that there was a system that was gonna make that song our reality. I always wanted to get out the environment that I grew up in. So I signed up for Job Corps, and I wound up here in Oregon. And living in that environment with the trees and the trails, it was like a fairy tale. That's when I actually felt free. But then 2 detectives arrested me based upon a warrant issued by the New Orleans authorities accusing me of having committed a murder. I was placed on a unit in the Orleans Parish prison where guys had already been sentenced to death. Some had 99-year sentences, some had life for petty drugs. When I would tell them about my case, that I was innocent, I didn't commit it, and all of them generally told me the same thing, that I was going to be executed. I started asking, well, how could I help myself? And that's when they told me, well, you got to learn the law. I started reading everything that I could get my hands on. I would always look in the newspaper, and if an influential person was arrested, I would cut those articles out and start creating my own law book. And in the process, I just fell in love with law. I fell in love with the power that it gives. And then I started trying to help other people as well. Once I got to Angola, then I applied for the job of being a jailhouse lawyer. And in researching a lot of the innocent cases, I noticed that their verdict was non-unanimous. Every state in the United States, you have to be convicted by a unanimous jury except Louisiana and Oregon. Klansmen introduced laws to make sure that the system could convict anybody they wanted to. And if it's a minority on that jury, then that minority juror vote would not count. Had we had a system like everybody else, those people would not have been convicted because you had to have all of the jurors to agree. Once I got released, I knew that I wanted to continue to help the people in prison. So I got employed as a paralegal. So then I went to one of the lawyers that works at the firm where I work at. His name is Ben Cohen. And I said, man, we got to do something about this. And Ben's response was, well, Calvin, if you find the cases, we'll litigate them all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And so I started working with the inmate lawyers for cases where the jury verdict was non-unanimous. Then I would get with Ben and appeal to the United States Supreme Court. We constantly was denied. Every time we got denied, we brought another case. Ben would say, Calvin, if you're not tired, I'm not tired. And my response is, I'm never going to get tired because no law should be on the book to preserve white supremacy. After 23 tries, the court finally said, I think we should look at this case.
Hamilton himself said the right to a unanimous jury. It's so self-evident we don't need to include it.
The rule in question here is rooted in racism, in a desire to diminish the voices of black jurors.
The words jury trial themselves mean unanimous verdict.
The United States Supreme Court ruled in our favor. So from this day on, no more convictions like that. The question becomes, what happened to those convictions before that? Should those people remain in prison based upon this law? There's hundreds of people that's still in prison, and then there are people that's not in prison that still have to say that they have a conviction. The state of Oregon could resolve that on their own. Our Attorney General, she have the power to do the right thing, to say everybody that was convicted based upon a racist law, whether they're in prison or out of prison, we dismissing those convictions. It's a sad thing that a person with all that power could say, I'm gonna let those people stay in prison. When I was on the inside, I just wanted to be free. To me, what freedom is, freedom to take a position, a right position, to undo things that I see that just wrong. To me, that is freedom, and I hold on to that. And that's why I'm 57 years old, and it's my first semester at Lewis and Clark Law School. And I just know that once I become a lawyer, that would add to my freedom to be able to stand up and do the right thing for people.